Checky, check, mic, check. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, troops, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the channel Mark. That's me, my words, where we follow trading, traveling, and training. Before we do get into Power Hour, I just want to take a moment to reflect on today's news. For those that haven't heard, His Royal Highness Prince Philip, the Queen's husband, has passed away today, and as a staunch royalist and a former serviceman, for me this is really, really sad news today. He was a great guy. He was a comedian. He was 99 years old, and he was a comedian right up until the end. He didn't take himself too seriously, I don't think. And he definitely had the old military sense of humour, that's for sure. So, Prince Philip, Your Royal Highness, rest in peace. Godspeed. And see you in Valhalla. Moving on. What's happening? Squirrel, good evening. Good afternoon, I think, for you. Where are we at? What's the state of play? What is the world coming to in the stonk market? Absolutely. What can I say? What can I say? If you if you want excitement, it's not in these meme stocks. That's for sure. So AMC again down today, 4.5%, 44 cents. And the downward trend continues. GameStop, same story. Down today, 7.2%, $12.25. The downward trend continues. So what's causing it then? We had positive news yesterday with Mr. Cohen probably going to be voted in as chairman of the board to GameStop at the next shareholder meeting. So you would think, on balance, that's positive. That's what people have been waiting to hear. And look at what's happened since then. We've gone from a high of where are we there? 183 to a low of the low of today is 153. $30 we've dropped in from high to low in 2 days. So take from that what you will. Personally, I'm just ignoring it because I just can't see it for anything other than manipulation. Look at yesterday. Look. Please, somebody tell me if I'm seeing it wrong. But I don't think I am. Is that... Who was selling? Who was selling yesterday? It wasn't me. And from what I'm reading on the forums, it was nobody else. So, who's... Who's responsible for that then? Same today. Look, are you telling me this is retail selling? I don't think so. No chance. I think what they might be doing is they're going for the old-fashioned approach of bore them to death. I think if they keep bleeding it like this, they think we'll all get bored. And just move on. We'll all sell up and move on. Well, I'm not. I'm not selling anything. It's do or die for me on that. But what I did do is I put it on the old 30-minute chart there, and I scrolled out a little bit. Again, as we say here, bigger picture matters. Look at that. So you've got this massive wedge there. If I just scroll in a little bit. Sorry about all the lines. I'm thinking about cleaning the chart up a little bit. As you can see here, this is a 30-minute. So the low back in February. Yeah. From again, this is an art, not a science. To where we are today. and then the high back in January, when we were all the way up at 483 to where we are today. And on the 30-minute chart, you can see, if I just zoom in there, we're right in there, look. We're right in the trend, the mix. So we broke out a little bit, you know. It would have been nice to see it go that way, but it hasn't. So take from that what you will, but we are on trend, let's say. So I mean, I'm thinking now, if this continues, it's gonna, well, it'll go one of three ways, won't it? It goes up, down, or sideways. That's not, you don't need to be an expert to work that out. But you know, hopefully we get an upward break. The volume is just so low, and if you go to the 1 minute chart, go back to the 1 minute for today. I mean, look at this. Some of these trades here, look. What's the volume there? 9,000 shares in that 1 minute. There was 9,000 shares traded. And if you go over to AMC, and do the same, some of these are 0, 200. Let's find a 0 one. 100. Look, 0. 0 trades. So there might have been something, but nothing traded. Again, I think, look at the volume here. All these empty neutral minutes here. And look at the gaps in between there. Let me draw that on, you'll be able to see it. That gap there. Between that minute and that minute, that gap. 934, 934, 932, 934 on what? How much volume? 1,681, and that one 1,768. Yeah, on a ticker that's got hundreds of millions of shares available. Unbelievable. How are you, Squirrel? How are you doing, my man? We'll have a look at the old YouTube challenge as well while we're here. Not looking good. Let's have a look at the wider market. Oh, red. You see, this is what I say. This is what I keep saying. It's red. Look at the wider market. Red. Everything is red. When's it going to end, man? This is just like unbelievable. Yeah, markets are dumb, mate. I couldn't put it any more succinctly, Squirrel, to be honest. You've hit the nail on the head. Stozzies, welcome, buddy. How are you? Look at that. I'm colourblind, and I can see all that red on there. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. NNDM, what's that then? Let's have a look. Let's go and have a look at. Let's have a quick look at the YouTube challenge. The two, because Clovis again. Look at that. I mean, come on. Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, and I shouldn't really, but you know, we've been down now for how many days? 686. 1, 2, 3, 4 trading days. Do you know what? I'm going to give it till next week. And if that trend continues, or if it doesn't show signs of recovery, I'm going to sell the Clovis for a little loss, because I want to start playing some other tickers, and I don't want to add to this fund. I keep talking about it, but I don't want to add to it. NNDM, Nano Dimension Limited. What's this all about then, Stozzies? Tell us. Let me close that bar. Oh, I should have, Mark. Let's add it to the channel watch list. We'll add it to the channel watch list and then we can close that down. And then it should be in here at the bottom. There you go. Right then, what do these folk do? What do these folk do then? Why are you not letting me zoom in and out? There you are. 30 minutes. Let's go to 30-minute chart. Ooh. When does this go back to? Last year. Wow. So they've had a strong run up, haven't they? So we've tested 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're building those higher lows. We've had a pullback there. What do these guys do then? Oh, so they had a stock offering. Israeli electrical equipment. 10% down, 10% pre-market as company continues to raise equity. So there was an offering. Company late Monday said it entered into agreements with investors to sell 39 million ADSs at $12.80. $12.80. And what's it currently at? $7.83. Ooh. You might be right there, Stozzies. I'm going to put that on the board. I'm going to look into that over the weekend. That might be one to have a little swapsy for Clovis. But I want to see what catalysts have got coming up, so I'll have a look at that. Are you in? Are you in, Stozzies? Have you got some in there, or? Down today. I'll tell you what I bought the other day. And it's simply because I use eToro. So I bought into FinTech. FTCV, I think it is. Let me grab my iPad and I'll check on eToro. Because there's a few tickers. If you pull up FTCV, there's a few tickers that come up. I think it's FTCV or FTVC. FinTech. That's the one we've got on the watch list, but it's a different price to what's on the old eToro. But I bought into them because they're eToro's joining them. eToro's joining them. So I bought in at I bought 50 shares the other day. Average 12.27, and it's currently at 13.74, which is nice. So I'm up there. 12% I've made. 12%. I mean, it was higher than that earlier today. It was 20%. So I probably should have took some off the top, but you know what they say. I've not been sat watching the computer. I've had my son really, so I've um, I've missed quite a lot this week, trying to balance parental responsibilities, do my regular job, do this, put some content out. It's quite busy. It's quite busy. You got 20 shares, Stozzy. I'm gonna have a look at that. To be honest, um, I like to diversify a little bit, so definitely gonna have a look at that. Anyway, what do we reckon about all this? I mean, look at this shizzle now. GameStop, man. Is it getting hit again? Yeah, they're dragging it back down again, look. Just when you think you're making some progress, back up to 160, they're smashing it back down again. Ah, I mean, I'm getting the feeling from watching some clips on YouTube and stuff. People are starting to get a little bit. The sentiment's changing, and I think people are getting a little bit tired of waiting. But it's patience. It's a patience game. Sorry, lads. Cheers. Friday night here. What time is it? 9:10. So I'm having a beer. Radagast. I don't know if I've shown you this one before. Another Czech beer. It's quite nice actually. It's one of my faves. So here we go. We're getting a little push, but I think this is death by a thousand cuts strategy. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to because imagine you bought in. Let's go back a few days. Imagine you bought in like what 5 days ago. Let's say. Let's go back 5 days. So one, two, three, four, five. Let's say you bought in here on this day, Thursday, last Thursday. That's when we got the 3.5 million potential uh, offering, and then since then, look at that. It's like curved. It's curved away. We seem to have moved away from those violent moves up and down. And all I can think is, you know, somebody somewhere has said, I mean, well, it follows a natural curve, doesn't it, over time? But I just think they're trying a new death by a thousand cuts type of strategy. Let's just bring it down little by little every day and see if we can do it that way. Because when we drop the price violently, it's not working. They're just those apes are just buying more. So maybe that's what they're doing. You're not going to sell. You're not going to sell what, Stuzzies? GME or AMC or what? I'm not selling anything. This genuinely is my YOLO. And I was chatting to a mate earlier. He phoned me up actually, and he said, "Mark, I've got a bit of money left. I'm thinking what to do about GameStop. What do you reckon?" And I've told him about a million times, don't phone me and ask me that question because I'm not qualified to answer it. It's your money, do what you want. But he said to me, "No, come on, just have a look. Let me know what you think." And I said, well, to be honest, I think his average is 208 or something like that. I said, no matter what price you buy at the moment, you're going to average down. I said, so put it into context. Like, I don't know how many shares he's got, but I said what you need to do is put it into context, and you can sit and wait at 160 and maybe it'll go to 150. Looking at my chart, I mean, I've got a support line there at 150. Let's call it 155. It's 154 and a half, something like that. 155. And I said to him, I've got a support line drawn at 155-ish. I said, so you can sit there and wait and see if it goes to 155. Or, you're calling me now and it's 160, 159, 160. So relative to what you've put in, what is that percentage wise if it drops another $5? You could be sat there for 4 hours waiting for that to happen. What is your time worth? $5 for 4 hours? Because if it is, you could come round my house. I've got a list of jobs for you to do. So let's see. So anyway, I said to him, look, you're putting this money in, and like I've said to you, it's for me, it's once in a lifetime. That money that I've put in this, I've written it off. It's either going to go to zero, or I'm going to be sat here in 30 years' time saying to my son, there you go, son, there's some money in AMC and GME there. And he'll go, who? Who are they? What do they do? Cinemas? You actually went and sat in a big room with other people and watched a movie? 100 of you together? What kind of weird life did you live, Dad? That's the way I see it going. So I'm in to the end. And I know I addressed it in my video yesterday. Some guy called Ralph Castaneda, he's had some stick because he's sold. But I keep saying it. If you're gonna sell, you're gonna sell, and that's your choice. Don't get involved in what other people are doing. Do you? You do you. And we'll see where it goes from there. We'll see where it takes us. But yeah, I mean, it's oh, hi Sam, how are you? It can, I mean, if you're sat there, like when I'm not with my kid and I'm not working, like, which generally by the time the market opens at 3:30, I'm just about wrapping up. So I can sit and watch the charts. And if you're sat watching this day after day, you'd just be like, oh my gosh, what is going on, man? What am I doing with my life? But that's how it's got people. People are gripped. They're gripped by it. So we'll see. But that was nice to see that upward trend that I drew on the 30-minute chart has held. It's tested it a little bit there, but nothing spectacular. And you'll notice that was the crossover for the. Let me just zoom in a little bit. You can see it was the crossover point for the upward line of support and that horizontal line of support as well. So the ascending level of support, it tested it there. Fake break. How many minutes was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It spent 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes below there. So, it is what it is. Big candle there, look. That's not bad. Quite nice. What volume? What volume hath thou? 9,675 so far. So, yeah. Like we keep saying, troops, zoom out, look at the bigger picture. Put in what you want to lose, or not what you want to lose. Nobody wants to lose, but what you can afford to lose. And ride it. Ride it to the moon. Ah, Sam, are you having a beer? Oh, I keep forgetting where the camera is. I don't know my left from my right sometimes. Stuzzies, I want to start a tree cutting business. Nice. What do they call it? What's the official name for it, Stuzzies? It's got a name, that trade, and I can't remember it. I can't remember. There's a name for that trade. I can't remember what it is. I'm sure you'll be able to, my friend. I'm sure you'll be able to. What I want to do, if this goes the way that we're all hoping it goes, I'm going to start. I'm going to start a retreat for veterans with PTSD, and I'm going to invest in some land, and I'm going to build some accommodation on there, and I'm going to buy some bikes, mountain bikes and road bikes, and I'm going to open it up to veterans with PTSD, and bring them along for free holidays, free cycling holidays, and try and help them in their recovery and show them what cycling can do for the mental health. Look at that, you see, that's what annoys me. We spend all this time going up, and it takes ages to get from there to there, and it takes minutes to bring us back down again. Stream's dropped out. There we go. I think I'm back. I had a connection issue. Arborist. Thanks, Stuzzies. That's it. So I'm reading on a lot of forums the big whales. The big whales. They don't want to let it go. They don't want it to let it run. And I'm trying to understand what that means. Like, if you're invested in this as a a big investor, and you can see this situation is unfolding, why would you want to hold it down? Why would you suppress the price? Does anybody know? Has anybody got an answer for that or a theory for that? There must be a reason for it. There must be a theory behind it. And again, I'm not being bearish or anything like that. I'm not saying that. It's just I'm trying to understand the logic and the thinking behind holding the price down. And I know there's people saying, oh, DTCC are just waiting for this rule to come into force and that rule to come into force. And that's where I think to myself, really, if everybody knows this is going to happen, why do they still let this happen? Why? Is it because they know, well, it's inevitable anyway? Or they just don't care, or So if you've got any theories about it, or what's your thoughts on it, let me know. Because somebody somewhere must be watching this and thinking, there's tens of thousands of people talking about this short squeeze, and you've got Ryan Cohen, who he's putting out some cryptic messages, and I just wonder sometimes why if you're going to be you could take out one of your competitors, why wouldn't you do it? Why are you going to sit here and just let it do this? I mean, they don't get me wrong, they're in a different position to us, aren't they? They're not sat there thinking, "Cool, this is going to change my life," because most of them, it's not about the money for most of them. I mean, it is, but they get the thrill of the chase, don't they? And the thrill of the hunt of taking out a competitor. Hey Simon, nice to have you here, buddy. You're an expat. That tells me you're a foreigner living in another land, but I don't know which land you're living in and where you originate from. You don't have to tell us. It's an open forum, so maybe you don't want to. But you're a Bristol boy, Brizzle. You're from Brizzle. So where are you now then? You're in America. He went to the dark side. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, American friends. I'm joking. I'm joking. To be honest, the state of the UK at the moment. I mean, I don't reside in the UK, but the state of the UK at the moment, America looks quite appealing. It looks like one of the most appealing places on the planet because I've seen that they get. I don't want to get into the COVID debate. I've got my own thoughts on it, and my own thoughts and on what's going on and what the best strategy is going forward. And I just I see that the Texas, Florida, they're just saying that's it. We've had enough, and no masks, no COVID vaccine passports, none of that rubbish coming here. So I have a mate actually, Simon. He's a Geordie, and he's been in he's been in Houston for 20 odd years. He's got his citizenship. He's got his American citizenship. So he's set up out there. He's in Qatar at the moment, working in Qatar. I'm just watching this little bit of action here because we're crossing one of my lines. Look, I mean, we did here as well, and we did here. So it seems it doesn't mean much, but just let me zoom out a little bit and see. I've got so many lines, I can't remember what it is. Oh yeah, this is the. No, it's not. It's on a different. Oh man, that's on the 1 minute chart then. So what's that from? Oh yeah, that's from the. That's from that previous high. I'm thinking I might clear the chart up a little bit and just move the lines up and down as we go along because I can do it quick enough. So I think over the weekend I might just have a quick clean up. But I like the historical lines on there because it look, I mean, gosh man, they pull it down so quickly. I like the historical lines on there because then it's a reference point for what we've talked about before and what we've been following before. Have you checked out Houston Wade's video on GME? Is that the one with the Harvard professor? I think that got pulled down, didn't it? They had that Harvard. Was he Harvard? Some university professor on there. I remember watching it a couple of days ago. If that's the same one, Si, I think it is. I think it's the same one. Yeah, there you go. It is. Access bypass. Hello, mates. How are you? Texas, baby. Nothing beats Texas. I go to Houston when. Remember those days when we were allowed to get on an aeroplane and go to different countries? Remember those times? I used to get on an aeroplane and go to Houston quite a lot. I've got some business out there, oil and gas industry business. So I generally go out to Houston. And last time I was there, I was actually thinking to go to Austin just because it's a name that everybody's familiar with and I wanted to see the town. So why should you avoid it? Like if I'm going there as a foreigner, what's to be avoided? Or is that just a Texan saying stay away from Austin like as a British guy, Northern guy, I'd say, for example, Simon, don't take this the wrong way, I'd say stay away from Bristol, for example. Kevin, good evening, sir. How are you? You're in Florida? Yep. People here haven't cared much about COVID for a while. Stazis is in El Paso. Wow, well, we're widespread today. People haven't cared much about COVID for a while. How is it, Kevin? How is it? I must admit, I saw a chart today, not a stock chart. I saw a COVID chart today on Twitter, and it was the figures for COVID in Florida. And it showed with no masks and no social distancing and nothing like that. Even with that, everything's just, it's tanked. Like the cases have dropped, like there's no tomorrow. Deaths have dropped. I mean, every death is bad. Um, I just, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at with it. So, if you're regular here, you would have known that last week I was in the family court, battling for joint custody of my son, which I got, and then today, this week, the Czech government have announced that from next week they're going to open up some school years and some kindergartens. And I went onto the website today, and the kindergarten website says we're opening from next week for children that are compulsory education before they start school, and children of key workers. However, it's subject to testing twice a week. Now, maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, my son was ill and he had a fever. So we went to the doctors and we gave him a COVID test. Well, the nurse did, one of those quick ones, 30-second ones or whatever it is. But they still put it up his nose, and the poor kid, man, he was absolutely terrified. And as a parent, I was like, this is awful. Like, I just don't. I didn't like seeing my son traumatized like that, and I'll call it traumatized. And some people say, well, that's a bit harsh, Mike. It's just a swab up the nose. He was traumatized. He peed himself while he were doing it. And I was just like, and then when I saw that today from kindergarten, the first thing I did was I emailed my ex-partner and I said, because she works in social services, so she might fall under the key worker bracket of being able to send him to nursery. And I've emailed her and I've said, under no circumstances will I consent to him going back to nursery whilst there's an insistence that they are tested twice a week. I'm not doing it. I won't put him through it. He can come with me. And if that means that my work has to suffer, which it has, don't get me wrong, with nurseries being closed, like I can't work as much as I normally would because he's here with me all through the day, But that's by the by. I can always earn money, and I'm just not prepared to put him through that. So I'm all for a bit of realism. I think we need to have a little bit of realism on the situation now, where we were told, certainly in the UK, people were told that the vaccine is the way out of it, and this, that, and the other. It's only until we vaccinate the most vulnerable. Now it's until we vaccinate, the over 50s. Oh, now vaccination's not the way out of it. These COVID passes are, I think I've got that fatigue now, that COVID fatigue, where I've tolerated it for a year, and I use myself as an example. I'm 45 years old. I don't have any underlying health conditions. I'm active, I'm healthy. I don't get sick very often, even generally during the winter. I'm not picking up colds or anything like that. I might get a snivel for a few days, but I genuinely can't remember the last time I was laid up in bed saying I can't move, I can't do this, I can't do that, can't do anything. So I just, I want to be in charge of my own risk assessment, if you like, and I don't like being grouped with people who are at risk. And I think the money that's been spent on keeping everybody, I don't want to say locked up because it's probably quite harsh, but the money they've spent trying to keep everybody safe would have been better spent, I think, offering extra to those people who were most at risk. So, for example, where you had, people told to shield for example, don't go out for 6 weeks or whatever. My dad was one of them because he's got heart conditions and he's had cancer. Luckily, he's beat it. He's had it twice. It keeps coming back. But he was told to shield. So he couldn't even, leave the house for like 6 weeks or whatever it was. I would much rather the money they spend on furloughing people, fit, healthy people. Don't spend the money on furlough. Spend it on sending money to, buying food, buy shopping for the vulnerable people and pay for it to be delivered. Pay for a carer to go and stand at their window for 20 minutes a day and have a chat to them. Whatever it took, I think you would have not spent as much money, and you wouldn't have lost as much money neither. Do you know what I mean? But that's just my take on it. We're a trading, travelling, and training channel, and we're getting all deep on coronavirus. But that's where my line is drawn, where they insist that my child is tested 2 times a week before they'll let him in nursery. I think it's terrible. I think it's awful. I think it's one of the worst policies I've ever encountered, really. Because look at the data. The data says kids are very low risk, extremely low risk. And if the teachers don't want to take the risk, fair enough, stay at home. Don't go in and don't be a teacher. That's fine. But you don't get paid. That's it. Because the statistics say, it's a very, very low risk environment. And I guarantee when the pubs open in Czech Republic where I am, those same teachers that the government are trying to protect by doing this testing 2 times a week, or the old people that they're trying to protect by testing the kids, those same people will be sat in the bars. As soon as they open them, they'll be in the pub, because there's a drinking culture here, and there's a socialising culture here. And it just won't wash. So I just think, well, hang on a minute. You want to test my kid twice a week at nursery to protect the older generation, who, as soon as the pubs are open, are going to be sat in the pubs mingling with each other. What? I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, let's move on. One of Mark's deep moments there. I tend to go into these during the streams. What are we doing price-wise? 157.5 there or thereabouts. AMC. We've had a little bit of a pick-up, 941. Again, I'm not concerned by this at all. I'm not. I know there's an end game. I know there's a long game being played. But it's just, sometimes it'd be nice to see it go just one pop, just to 170. I mean, just there, 165 even, just one little green candle up to 165. I'll be happy. I'll go to sleep with a smile on my face, knowing that somebody somewhere is still, on our side, sort of thing. But anyway, right. Thoughty by nature. Hello. Welcome. Ohio here. Was in London in the 90s. Had to evacuate the shopping centre due to a bomb in the street. Great vacation otherwise. Cheers. That would have been probably the IRA, the Irish Republican Army. They were active around that time. So I'm sorry you had to experience that, but we lived with it for 30 odd years. And I served in Northern Ireland for 2 years. I was based just outside of Belfast, maybe 20 minutes outside of Belfast. So it was interesting. It's interesting times out there. I mean, they'd already, when I was there must be 21 years ago, something like that. They'd already signed the Good Friday Agreement. So the peace deal was already in place. But what I did get to experience was I was on covering fire duty, because the firemen went on strike. The fire brigade went on strike. I think it was 2002, something like that. So the government decided to use the army, but the fire brigade they wouldn't let us use their equipment because they said we weren't trained on it, and it was too complex for us. So we were put in green goddesses. Let me get one up to show you. Uh, Wait till you see this. This is what we were. This is what we were sent to fight fires with. I'm typing what I'm speaking. What you idiots! This is what we were. This is what we were sent to fight fires with in the army. Look at that! Look. Oh my word! This is what they gave us. They said, "There you go, troops. Treat yourselves. This is what you're going to go and fight the nation's fires with." So unbelievable. That's what they sent us out in. And in Northern Ireland, they were painted yellow because of the situation, the sensitivity of the army, just in general. They painted them yellow, so we were in the yellow goddesses. And they were terrible. Like, they did about 40 miles an hour. It was ridiculous. And I remember, like, we used to get called out. So the kids on the estates, especially the Catholic estates, they'd set bins on fire and then call us. "Oh, there's a fire on the estate." So we'd get there about 40 minutes later. It was only 10 miles down the road. It'd take us 40 minutes to get there. Bin was burnt out by the time we got there. And then they'd just start throwing bricks and petrol bombs and stuff at us. Very pleasant. And then when you get called to somebody's house, you get a little bit nervous going into people's houses just because of the history and the situation. But they made us wear these stupid white helmet covers. So we had they didn't even give us proper firefighting clothes. We just had our regular army kit on. The helmets that we went to war in Iraq and that, with the helmets we were using to go firefighting. Oh, they made a modification so we could have a little visor on there, which, that's going to stop me dying, isn't it, from smoke inhalation and first degree burns. But yeah, it was funny. I mean, we got called to a car fire once. Again, they took an old car and just set it on fire on the local estate. Oh, there's a car on fire. And we set off. By the time we got there, the rain had put it out. It was raining, and the rain had put it out. But it was crazy, man, crazy. So yeah, sorry you had to go through that bomb scare. But it was normal for us growing up. We used to get schools used to get bomb scares, and hospitals and all sorts of places, shopping centres like that. And at one point they took all the bins. They took all the bins off the streets. I think you guys were. I think you guys call it a trash can. They took all the trash cans off the streets because the IRA were just dropping bombs in them. So you used to go around the city centres and there'd be no bins to put your litter. And then they had an anti-littering campaign. So it was like, where do you want me to put it then? So yeah, it's fun times. I mean, the one memory I have of that fireman, I've got a few memories of the fireman strike, but we got called to a road traffic accident. And unfortunately, two young teenagers had died. There was a mother driving her daughter to Belfast Airport, and she was on her way to get a flight to go and be with her dad for a while, who lived overseas, and she was in the car with her friend, and the mum was late, so she was speeding, and she pulled out to overtake a lorry, hit the central reservation, skewed back across the motorway, hit the crash barrier, and went over the crash barrier. And unfortunately, she was on the section of the motorway that went into Belfast Lock. So the car was upside down. The two kids weren't wearing seatbelts. They got catapulted out. The tide was out at the time, so they just smashed onto the rocks that you know, if the tide had been in, they may have survived because the water would have been high enough to, you know, at least take some of the impact. But yeah, we had to go and recover the bodies. And when we got there, there was a baby seat floating in the water. So we spent 2 hours, you know, wading through the water, just using our hands, trying to, you know, feel if there was a baby somewhere in the water. Anyway, it turns out there wasn't. The baby was at home, thank the Lord. But we couldn't move the bodies. We couldn't move the bodies until forensics had been and took pictures. And by the time forensics turned up to take the pictures, the tide had come in. So there was just these. Oh, it was, you know, these. Getting a bit graphic, but just these bodies floating around in Belfast Lough that we couldn't recover. So yeah, not a pleasant memory, but you know, you couple it with the laughs that you have, and you just crack on, you just deal with it and move on. But yeah, I was there for 2 years, so I've got a few stories. Bobby, hello mate. How are you doing? Nice to see you here. Bobby's joined the Discord. I've put the link up there. If you want to join, feel free. We've got a few members in there. Squirrel's in there. I'm in there. Bobby's in there. Omar's in there. Who else? We got one more in there. NMV's in there. So yeah, join up if you want. Have you been driving, Bobby, or you been playing golf today, mate? The Masters has started, hasn't it? I want to try and watch a little bit over the weekend. Kevin, so you were in the army. I had the pleasure of being on a US Navy base in the Bahamas while the British Navy was there. Wow, those boys know how to party. They do, yeah, they do. The old shipmates. They'll be getting drunk today because Prince Philip, who passed away, he was a Navy guy, so they'll be having a drink for him today. But yeah, we certainly know how to enjoy ourselves in the military, shall we say? I mean, I think you know, every profession does, but certainly in the military. I remember when I was serving in the south of England, and our weekends used to start at 12 o'clock on a Thursday. And we didn't stop until Sunday night in the summer because we'd have it's called a block party. So we have these blocks where everybody lives, and you know, before they modernised it all and made it was called SLAM, single living accommodation. When I was in, there was no SLAM, or it was just being introduced. Not every camp had it. So when you get promoted, you get your own room. So I finished up as a corporal, which in the American forces, you can be a corporal within a year of joining. It doesn't work like that in the British Army. It takes a long time to get your promotions. There's a lot of competition, and you've really got to stand out. And I left as a corporal, but as a lance corporal and a corporal, I got my own room. But the privates, they used to live in a room, you know, a 4-man room. So we all used to live in these big blocks, and you'd have block parties at the weekends, and each block would take turns in having a block party. So, you know, one block could have a party on a Thursday night, then you'd finish at Friday lunchtime anyway for the weekend. So it'd be another block party, and then downtown in the evening. Saturday would just be like, you know, everybody for breakfast. So you'd go over to the cookhouse and get your breakfast, and then, you know, hair of the dog, straight back on it. It just had some really, really fun times. And, you know, when you were away, I mean, I had some amazing times in America, I can tell you. With being in the British military and going to America is an experience that I'll never, ever, ever forget. Never. Because it was just, it was humbling, because at that time when I was in, the military in the UK wasn't getting the recognition that it gets now. So to go over to America and experience people wanting to buy you dinner and drinks, and you know, you get discount everywhere you go, and you know, it was humbling, almost to the point of being a little bit embarrassing for us because we weren't used to it. But yeah, we certainly know how to party. That's for sure. And what they do now. So when you go away on tour, the Americans go on tour for 12 months, whereas the British we don't. We go for 6 months, and we get 2 weeks R&R in between. But what they do now when they go away on tour is they have what's called decompression, because they realise that people were coming back from theatres like Iraq and Afghanistan, which were, really, really intense back in the day. I'll say back in the day because it was back in the day. I mean, from 2000 to 2006, 2007, when I was out there, it was really, really intense. I mean, there wasn't a day went by that you didn't feel, under some sort of threat or come under some sort of contact. So, what they realised was they were having those guys in that kind of operational environment. And then when your tour finishes, you're literally on a flight back to the UK. You get back to your unit, you demobilise or you de-kit everything, and within a week you're sent home. That's it. That's it for a month. You get what's called your POTOL, your post-op tour leave, and for a month, that's it. There you go. You've got all the money that you've saved for 6 months. Go and enjoy yourself. And what they realised was a lot of lads and lasses were coming back and struggling. And they were going out and they were drinking and they were getting in fights and they were getting in trouble with the police, or, they were having fights amongst themselves. And it's because they had all this pent up adrenaline and all this pent up aggression. And, if you've lost somebody while you from there, or, you've been involved in something a bit horrific, you've got all that to deal with as well. So then what they decided was they would have this staging post in between finishing your tour and landing back in the UK. So they started sending people to Cyprus. So for a few days, you'd go to Cyprus, and it's called decompression. So you go there, you have a few drinks, you relax, and that's where it creates an environment for people to get things off their chest. So yeah, that was it really, But yeah, going to America with the forces was different gravy, shall we say? Different gravy. Simon, I'm bag holding eyes. What's your thoughts, mate? I got out. I'll be honest. I had the same, and I took a small loss. I think I've got it on here somewhere. Second Sight Medical, isn't it? Yeah. So it had this massive run up, didn't it? But I mean, over the last few days, it's holding a little bit. It's holding. It's not come back down to these levels, 825-ish. I know it's not great, but you're there or thereabouts, Simon, to be honest. Where's today? Oh, hang on. Is this today? Shut the front door. What the? Oh my word. That happened today. Did you get caught today? Whoa. I didn't know that. I've missed that today. See, that's the problem with not being sat at your computer. You miss these things. Have they had some news, Simon, or has it just come out of nowhere? 8th of April. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they've had a run up today. But that's yesterday's news. When did that get released? Doesn't give a time, does it? See, that's a positive. So that's a sell the news event, that is. But you're finishing. You're not too bad. really. It depends what you bought in at, to be honest. Oh, you got in today. What, at the top? 10.37. But I mean, overall, Simon, it's uh, it's on the up. Again, like I say on this channel, it's on the up. So if you take it from here, for example, where that first run up started, you can see, you're only going in an upward trajectory. So yeah, that's a sell the news event. That's probably who people who got in on the last one. You might find that's people who got in up here, and they saw that as their opportunity to get out because they thought they were bag holding there. That's what that might be. But overall, and that goes back to beginning of March, you know, and it's positive news. So sell the news, okay? They've sold the news, but you're not going down. You haven't broken any real downward negative trajectory. So I'd just sit on it, mate. If I was you, that'd be my advice. I'd sit on it for a while. Keep an eye on the news. If you've got a charting thing that you use, Trading Views free. Just keep an eye on the chart and just see what it does for a few days. Next week. It depends. It depends what your tolerance level is for your losses. Do you know what I mean? If you set a percentage, like if I get into something and I don't want to any more than a 10% loss, then do it like that. That's how I generally do it. AMC and GME are a bit different because they're different beasts. But generally, I'll set myself a little loss limit, a stop loss. Although I don't use trailing stop losses because I like to watch in real time and see what's happening in real time. But I wouldn't worry too, even if it comes down here. I wouldn't worry too much, to be honest. Only down a couple hundred, mate. If you could tolerate it, sit on it for a while because you don't want to be. It's a typical thing that people do. They buy at the top and then they sell at the bottom, and it's just a learning curve. It's just patience. Having that patience and not getting not making any knee jerk reactions. Or taking any snap decisions. You've got to watch and assess. I mean that. Look, it's trending up. So even before that news, hit today, yeah, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. So yeah, I won't worry too much about that. Heavy on AMC. I think everybody is. I think everybody is. What's it doing? How far we? Oh, we're closing lot. Oh, what are we down? 3.5%. 3.5%. But you can just see. I mean, no volume. Look at that. Look at that volume there. 100. 100 shares. What's that one? 300 shares. Yeah. What's that last minute? 700 shares. Nothing. A big gap there. What's going on there? Nothing there, look. And there. Another one there. No trading. So that just tells me that obviously there's nobody selling. Obviously there's nobody selling. So, this is just pure slow bleed manipulation. And this is the resistance line that we drew on. We've extended it down. And that's holding. So we broke that yesterday and it's held. Yeah, okay, we've dropped, but we've managed to get up just about on par with that longer term support line there. Look, that ascending level of support. Let's put that on the five. Is it on the 5-minute chart? I think. So yeah, we're just on that ascending level of support, look, which goes all the way back to here. You know, again, early March from that run up that we had. So I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned. Yeah, everyone's broke. Everyone's broke till next payday. You're not wrong, Kev. You're not wrong. You know. So I'll just keep it going. I mean, I might, like I said, I'll watch Clovis for a while. Oh, look at that! Unbelievable. That's huge. What's happened to Clovis there? Why has that happened? What's going on with Clovis? No news. See, this annoys me. Look at this, look. Clovis jumps on positive data for drug in ovarian cancer. Brilliant, right? 19th of March. Let's go back to the 19th of March and see what it's done since then. Where are we? There we go, 19th of March. Look at that. Since they announce positive news for ovarian cancer study, that's what's happened to the price. That's sick, really. That's and it's heavily shorted. This was on one of the this was on Wall Street Bets as one of the heavily shorted stocks. It's on their radar. But that, I mean, yeah. Good news here, bang. And then let's have a look at GameStop. You know, we've had good news yesterday, bang. Look at that. All the way down. Where are we finishing today? 158. 158 and some change. So down nearly $12, 7% on the day. You know, and you can't tell me that, you know, people got that news yesterday of Ryan Cohen and then all of a sudden decided that's it, I'm selling. You know, maybe some did, but I don't think the majority have, really. So yeah, I mean, would you say a disappointing end to the week? I mean, it is what it is, and I keep saying it. We're passengers. We're just passengers. And what I do is I keep referring back to the due diligence, you know, that people are doing, and I keep rereading it, and I keep, I keep thinking, well, there's some really clever people that are putting some stuff out there, you know. And when you put it together, when you patch it together, it makes sense, you know. One thing I can't understand though is if I mean they keep writing these, they keep issuing shares, don't keep doing naked shorting or whatever. And I just think, well, if these market makers know what's going to happen, why do they keep doing it? Why do they keep putting synthetic shares out there? Obviously to drag the price down. But if they think they're going to get bitten, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. You know. Maybe they don't think they're going to get bitten. Maybe they. I just can't see GameStop going to zero. Really, I can't. That's my where I'm at. That's steadfast where I am. I can't see this company going to zero. So, you know, that's where I'm at. AMC, I mean, I think they're in a slightly more challenging position of the two, you know, but again, I think that vote for the extra 500 million shares, that's a milestone. I think that's going to be a milestone. So if that gets voted through, I think AMC is going to tank. So, you know, if you're in and that gets voted through, you know, you're in for the long run, because that will tank the stock. Absolutely, it will. That's when a lot of people who are on the verge at the moment of, tell you what we can do, we can adjust that for next week, look, because that's got to put that as a bit of support there. That's going to be a defining moment for this stock, I think, and that's in April. So it's just May the 4th. So it's a few weeks off yet. So you've just got to wonder how much have these hedge funds got? How much are they, you know, prepared to throw at it? I mean, the borrow rate is low, but will that go up? The numbers seem to be going up over the last few days with utilisation and, you know, number of shares shorted. So there's a lot coming into play. I just think they've got more of a challenge than GameStop have, because GameStop, it's there, isn't it? It's an e-commerce business, whereas AMC, it is a traditional business, and, you know, people are going to the movies, don't get me wrong, and pandemic recovery, that's you know, that's going to come into play as well. And if that vote goes through, you know, that's when you're in for the long haul then, you know, because then there will be, and it's not, I hope people don't think I'm suggesting that they're going to put those shares into the market straight away, because they're not. They've said they're not. You know, and you've got to take the CEO at his word. So, you know, that's my position on it. I think AMC is slightly more challenging than GameStop in terms of business growth and development and restructuring, or whatever they want to do, servicing debt and all that. So yeah. What else we got? I've got no choice. Yeah. You're right, Si. Got no choice. Trash Panda, welcome. Thanks for joining us, new to the channel. So welcome. Thank you very much for your taking the time to drop by. I really appreciate it. I know there's lots of content out there on this topic at the moment, so thanks for choosing Mark My Words. You're curious when you should average down on AMC, now or Monday? I'm at 12.26 with 1,321 stocks. I'll give you the same advice that I gave. I won't give you the same advice because I'm not a financial advisor. Just get that disclaimer in there. But my mate phoned me earlier, and I talked about it on the stream earlier. And he's in GameStop, and he has a $208 average, I think it is, something like that. When should I buy back? You know, when should I buy some more? And what I said to him was, if you're buying below what your average price is, you're not going wrong. If you've got money to buy more and you want to buy more, and you can average down. You know, you can sit and look at the chart all day saying, I want it to get to X price. I mean, what's it at today? 940 ish. It's closed, okay? 940 plus. And you're at 1226 with 1,300 shares. So, you know, you're already 25% off what your average is, even if you buy in now. And you can sit and you can wait and you can say, will it drop some more? But I've got this level of support drawn in here, and I know that other analysts. I'm not an analyst. I'm a guy that draws lines on a chart. But I know that other people have got similar sort of support and resistance levels. There's another one at $9. So, you know, you can say, I want it to be at $9. I want it to be at $9.20 before I buy back in. And that's absolutely fine. That's your prerogative. But my philosophy is, as long as if I'm averaging down and I've got money to average down, as long as I'm averaging down, you know, I'm averaging down, and it doesn't matter, especially at these levels. It's 20 cents. It depends what you're putting in, but it's a 20 cent difference, and you could sit all day waiting for it to drop that 20 cents. What's your time worth? Is your time worth 20 cents over an 8 hour period? I don't think it is. Well, it'd be 20 cents multiplied by the number of shares, but that's the time you're going to have to invest in watching the chart. So that's my advice. As long as you're averaging down, you're averaging down. Got to run. Yeah, no worries, buddy. Have a good day. Hope to see you here again. And take care, mate. Have a good day. I'm irrelevant. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. How are you doing, buddy? Have you heard about Wanda buying back their shares? I did hear some news about that. Let's go to Fintel. I heard something, but I heard that they hadn't Fintel, Mark, AMC, Insti. So yeah, I did hear some rumblings about it, but then I also heard that they weren't buying back in at all. Right, what we got? Form 13DA, Wanda American Entertainment. Previous shares, locked. Current shares, 30 million. 30.5 million. What's a 13DA? Sole voting power. I'll have to look into this. I'll look into it over the weekend, buddy, and we'll see. We'll see next week. Like I said, I heard somebody mention it earlier, and I can't recall where. It was on YouTube. I was listening to somebody on YouTube, but I was busy. I just had it on in the background, and then it slipped my mind. We've been on the stream, so I'll have a look at it over the weekend, because it's interesting. If they've bought back in, it's a shame I can't see this. You must have to have a what do you call it? Premium account. So, right then. I'll have a look. I'll have a look over the weekend. I heard they bought back 30 million shares. Yeah, 30.5. I just want to be sure, because there's all these different filing forms, and I don't know what they all are. So I like to understand what a 13DA is, just to see what that is. Yeah, so this is Fintel, which also does like the short interest and stuff like that. So, some people call it fake Intel, which I find quite amusing, because some of the numbers probably don't reflect what the reality is. But we shall see. We shall see. See, there's another Wanda here. Wanda Culture Holdings. So they're obviously part of a group, Wanda America Entertainment Inc., Wanda Culture Holding, Wanda America Investment Holding. You see, there's all these different. See, they had 75 million. Is that they're the ones that they converted them, didn't they? They converted them back earlier in the year. But I'll have a look over the weekend anyway. Kev, buy a limit order and walk away. You don't have to just sit and watch the ticker. Yeah, that's a good idea. From my understanding, it took profits at 13.40 and then bought back in when they saw people flooding the theatres. Maybe. It's nice if you've got the money to do that, isn't it? So that's one for the weekend. That'll keep me busy. But yeah, there we are, troops. That's the state of play. Again, we're making these triangles, and these are the positives that I look for. Things like this. Look, support. You got the same there. And if we ignore that, because you can ignore that, say that was a false break. Look, we're going up. We're moving on up. So although we're down, I mean, some people would say, well, that was all a little bit fakey bakey anyway. When the rumours, bit FOMO kicking in, people jumping in. When they heard the rumours of the short squeeze happening. And maybe this is more of a natural line to be taken. Do you know what I mean? But if we keep getting the breakouts, you can see here we're getting the triangles, the same up, down. You keep getting a breakout and you just keep going up like that. Eventually, you're gonna get back up to some sort of realistic level. But the next catalyst, obviously, is the vote. It's the vote. And I can't see past that at the moment. And if something happens before, it happens before, If we get propelled before then, great. If we don't and it goes through, I think we go down. If it gets voted against, I think, that might send us up a little bit. There might be people waiting on the sidelines to see what happens there. So, take that as you will. Kev, I'm going to go forget about the stock market for a few days. Yeah, me too. I'm out on the bike tomorrow, so I'm going to put a few miles in the legs and not think about this over the weekend. Apart from I'll do the reading of the 13DA and see what that is. Who wouldn't scalp $220 million? But if they're buying back in, great. That'll put some tinder on the fire, that's for sure. So yeah, I think that's it, troops. I think that is it. We're finished for the weekend. Thankfully, it's not a long weekend. We've only got to wait till Monday this time. We don't have 3 days to wait like last weekend. That was long, wasn't it? Last weekend, holy shamoly. I was sat here pulling my hair out, what little I've got. So yeah, I'm going to knock it on the head. I'm going to go and finish my beer and then get to bed. I'm pretty tired today. And I wish you all a good weekend. Listen, I'm free Monday and Tuesday, so I'll be streaming Monday and Tuesday. Depending on how my schedule goes, I may do open and close. So just keep an eye out. And it'd be great to see you all here again. And if you've enjoyed this stream, give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. But I appreciate your support anyway. And I wish you all a very, very nice weekend. What's last few comments? A weird gut feeling, and that's all it is, a gut feeling. Do you know, sometimes that's the way it goes. You just get that feeling in your belly, I got that feeling when I got married, and I felt like I was doing something wrong. Turned out to be true. Oh, you got to laugh. Don't take life too seriously, troops. That's my philosophy. So we're not here for long. You might as well enjoy it. So anyway, troops, look after yourselves. Have a good weekend, and I hope to see you next week. Cheers.